I'm going to remove my scrap yarn to work my afterthought heel. My knitting needle goes into the right leg of the first stitch just below the scrap yarn, and I'm going to put my needle into the right leg of every stitch across that row right underneath the scrap yarn. So I'm securing these stitches onto my knitting needle. I'm going slowly into the right leg of each stitch, just dipping the needle under and then moving into the next stitch. So I'm going into every other line, so to speak. If a stitch is made up of two little lines, I'm going into the right edge, the right line if the stitch is a little letter V, all the way to the side here. So I have one side of my afterthought heel on these two double points. Now I'm going to turn the work around 180 degrees, and I'm going to insert a needle into the other edge, the same way I did for the first side. I'm going to repeat now for this side. So my needle goes into the right leg of the stitch that looks like a little letter V. Same thing across these stitches here. And you should have about the number of stitches that you had put on the scrap yarn. So in my case, I had 20 stitches of scrap yarn. I should have 20 stitches on the top needle and 20 on the bottom too. Very carefully, I'm going to snip that scrap yarn and then begin unraveling it from the work. So I used a very sharp scissors and very carefully made sure just to cut the gold yarn. And then I am using a tapestry needle here to pluck out the scrap yarn from the afterthought heel opening. So that side is out, and then I'll continue on the other side until I get that removed. This is where it's handy to use a color that has some contrast to your heel, to the colors by the heel. Once you have this open, you'll notice you have a big space for your heel. You'll follow your pattern to attach the yarn where you are supposed to, and you may find that you need to pick up stitches, extra stitches in the corners, which I will show you in a moment. So you take out that final yarn, and now here you can see this opening. That's where the heel is going to go in the sock. That'll be the bottom of the heel, and this will be the top. Okay, and you're going to attach yarn in the corners perhaps, or maybe in the center, depending on your pattern. And again, some patterns ask you to pick up extra in the corners. Happy knitting!